What up, y'all? I want to welcome everybody to the On the Map podcast. I'm your host, Coach Paul. You know who that handsome young fellow over there is. That's my co-host, Jay. And man, let's just get right into it, man. High school football in LA City section is already kicked off. We're in like week 5, going on week 6. Man, and Jay, let me tell you, we got some traction around here, brother. Like, we got some teams making noise. So for all our viewers and our guests, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Let's knock out some bills real quick. We want to thank Black Market Chicken for sponsoring us. We'd like to thank Never Waver Apparel for the sponsorship. All right, enough about paying bills. Let's get right into this high school football, man. What we got going on for tonight's episode, Jay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome in, everybody. Today we're kind of just doing a bit of a league preview slash mid-season review, if you could put it that way. I know certain leagues in the city section have already started their league because they have like 7 teams, but we
Right.
also have some leagues that starting next week. So we kind of just thought this week would be a good midpoint to kind of just go over league because league is it's important. You want to win your league title. It's important for playoff seedings. Non-league is over and you can play teams in your own backyard. And I know there's a lot of neighborhood rivalries in the city section.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I can't wait. Like, Eastern League started their league last week. East Valley should have started their league last week. A lot of these
Valley
teams that
Mission
have,
too, I think.
yeah, a lot of the teams that have these 7 and 8 team leagues, they started last week, like you said. So we got one more preseason games for a lot of these teams, and then right in the league. Um, Actually, let's do let's kick it off with, because I think there's a lot more information that we got for you guys that would regard why we choose some of the teams that we're choosing to win their league. So I think we should go about it like this. We'll go every other one. I'll kick it off. So West Valley, right? They have 3 teams in the top 20. Um, they have Birmingham, which is number 3. They're led by Kevin Hawkins, Paul Turner, Jimmy Renteria, Braden Morgan, and Ray Worthen. They have Granada Hills at 17. That's 2 and 3, led by Dean Rosales, Michael Osuna, Jonathan Hernandez, and Matthew Farias. Sorry, you know how we do with names, man. We be slaughtering. We have
Yes,
Cleveland at
sir.
19, who's 1 and 3, led by Julio Avilos. Uh, I'm just gonna call him Mo. When we get you on the show, if we do have the pleasure, you're gonna teach us how to pronounce your name as well. Cole Green and Brandon Maldonado, man. Um, I would say out of Taft, Alco, Birmingham, Granada, Cleveland, and Chatsworth, I got Birmingham taking that. I have Birmingham taking the West Valley, man.
Yeah, I would agree. And honestly, coming from a West Valley school and living in this part of the San Fernando Valley, I do know, I guess you would say a bit more than I would most leagues. But yeah, this is one of the historically Birmingham dominated leagues. Well, that doesn't even make sense because Birmingham's the only one league. But the point
Yeah,
is that Birmingham, for the last 10, 15 years, has dominated this league, and that will continue. A team that surprised me, I guess you can say for the worst, would be Cleveland. They're 1-3. They lost to a really good Crespi team who's a lot better than a lot of people thought, but they
yeah,
dropped one to Franklin. And I think that says more about Franklin than it says about Cleveland. But they also dropped a game to Harvard Westlake. So a bit of a slow start for a team that I had potentially in the top 5 or 6 teams in Division One. So I'm interested in seeing that. And also another team that surprised me is my Toradors, Taft Toradors. I think we're like 3-1, 4-1. We're
yeah,
doing good.
buddy.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully we could be a good team in D1 or maybe a high seed in D2. And yeah, Chapter's in a bit of a down year, but they're never a bad team per se. They're always a tough team. I mean, Coach Paul would know from last year, that you guys met him in the championship, so they're a tough team. And you got Elko, who is interesting in the sense of it's a team that had always been really good, always gotten a lot of good athletes, but since the turn of the decade, the talent has kind of dwindled, and they've started going to the Oaks Christians, the
Okay.
the Chaminades, the Sierra Canyons, you could say. So they're under year one of head coach Rick. Rick H is his last name. As
Okay.
Coach Paul mentioned, we're not that good with last names.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna butcher his last name, but he'll get a kick in. But honestly, like when we were talking about league play only, it's really Birmingham and whoever could finish second and third, you know?
Right. And then right now, looking to like if we were looking at the numbers right now, Taft and so Taft is ranked 22nd. Elko is ranked 21st. And for
Mm,
those of you who wonder where, or for those of you that would like to know where we get our rankings from, we get them from highschoolratings.com. We don't use Max Preps. Max Preps more than likely gets their rankings from them when they do update them. So for our rankings, we are using highschoolratings.com. So
hmm
these are current rankings of where each team stands. So let's hit this Marine League. Boy, oh boy, this is about to be fun. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Let me go first, and then
yeah,
I'll do my spiel. You do your spiel.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the best team in the best league in the city section rather. You got Banning, Carson, San Pedro, Gardena, and a Narba, you know, South Bay League, teams near the Long Beach area. And let's start off with Carson, who is actually ranked number one according to the high school ratings. And then Pedro's number two, so you got the number one and two teams ranked in the city section by high school ratings in this league. And honestly, I guess you can say because I put a really high bar on Carson, I don't know how they will perform in very close games because going on to last year, they had three scored lead on San Pedro in the semifinal of the Open Division, and they ended up losing that game. To start the year, they were up on Via Park. They get a false start, or they get an offside rather, and boom, Via Park scores and they lose a close one. And then this past week they played North, which is in Torrance, and they were up, I think, two or three scores, and they ended up losing that game in double overtime as well. So I say all this to say that I don't know how they'll handle the pressure in these tight games. Yes, I know North and Villa Park are two very good Southern Section teams,
Right.
but it's, you know, if it happens once, it's okay. But this has happened three games, you know, in the
Yeah.
past year or so. So when it gets to a semifinal or a final with a Birmingham or a Pedro or even a league game with Pedro, if it's close, now I'm not so sure if I would still take Carson. But nonetheless, Carson is still a good team. They're ranked number one for a reason. They
Yeah.
have a couple kids getting cleared for the eligibility with the grades, so they'll be
Yeah. Yeah.
back in week
Eight.
10, which is in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well,
And they
week
and
eight
they,
of the
and they
football
got a
season.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Week 10 of the school season, week 8 of the football season.
Cool, cool, yeah. So it's coming up. So that's kind of on Carson, and then we got Pedro, Gardena, and Banyan and Narbonne. And Narbonne is it's interesting because they managed to keep four players that were on the varsity team. And this season, as much as I hate to say, is pretty much a wash because you have no playoffs and you're still stuck in maybe these 2 year contracts from last year, which
Yeah.
is why they had to play Los Alamitos, which is why they had to play a Los Osos and a Culver City, you know, games that are just quite frankly unfair. So you kind
Yeah.
of throw this out for Narbonne. But they do have a few good pieces. Quick shout out to JJ Vessel, their running back, who was on the varsity roster as a freshman, so he's now a sophomore. He's doing his thing out there, and hopefully he'll continue to stay at Narbonne. But in terms of our predictions, because I know we only have so much time. As much as I spoke about Carson and my questions about how close they can keep games and if they can win those close games, I still have Carson. You know, this is high school football, and oftentimes talent wins you games. So I'm gonna go with Carson.
All right. So the Marine League, as you stated, they have actually four of their teams are in the top 20. So Carson's number one, led by Chris Fields, Eric Speedy Myers, Darren Patton, and Preston Leomidi. San Pedro's number two. Carson's 2 and 3. San Pedro's number two at 2 and 3, led by Seth Solorio, Dylan Ashford, Elias Redlew, and Donovan McClendon. Banning is number four at 4-1, led by Noah Tuvalu, Nathan Greb, Christopher Corberuvius, and Cody Galloway. Gardena is 18 at 1-3, led by Kevin Martinez. Uh, I'm gonna call him CC James. Cecil, yeah, I can't pronounce that, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong. And Gabriel Gutierrez. Um, These three are known leaders, but unfortunately, there are no stats for this team. We get our stats. We do get the stats from Max Preps because Huddle links to it. But those are known leaders for that Gardena team. To talk about who's going to win league, everybody knows I'm a big Chris Fields guy, but some things have transpired in the last week. I am now officially a homer for the San Pedro Pirates because I now am a teacher at that school.
Yes, sir.
So,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So, I have, as much as I'm a Carson fan, um, hey man, San Pedro's knocking on the door, and San Pedro gets my homer pushed over the cliff. It's gonna be a great game, man. When they face off, this whole league is a gauntlet, like we always say, man.
Yeah.
They have 4 teams in the top 20, and two of the best ones are 1 and 2, rightfully so. So I'm actually looking forward to that game, and because I'm now teaching, uh, I got to root for I got to root for my school. So um, I give San Pedro the nod on that one. Next up is the Eastern League. Ooh, the league that everybody loves to talk about, man. The league that everybody loves to talk about. So the Eastern League this year the tides have turned in this league, brother. The tides have turned. The tides have turned. Eastern League only has 2 teams in the top 20. Garfield is number 6, 2-2, led by Cesar Reyes. I'm gonna call this young man PJ because it's pastiche. Yeah, we just gonna go PJ. He's their running back, and then Javier Vargas and Chuck Perez. Southgate is number 13. They're 3-2, led by Mike Gonzalez, Nicholas Fonseca, Nicholas Quintanilla, Tommy Gutierrez, Leo Ramirez, Edward Castro, Maddox Fung, and Carlos Santana. Let me tell you, the defensive side of the ball has absolutely, absolutely made some noise this year for Southgate. Um, I want to say out of the 7 teams, man, like it's the fact that only 2 of us are in the top 20, but
Mhm.
it's the law of attrition, man. Like graduating classes and then you build up, right? So some of these teams last year that were like pretty senior heavy are filling it. You got Legacy who's 4-1 right now. I believe they're 4-1. Yeah, they're 4-1. Or no, they lost to Garfield, so they're 3-2. Um, they were on. They put up some numbers in preseason, bro. Like, but they're
Mhm.
still ranked 35. Like, this is we may only have a couple teams in D1 this year instead of like last year. Remember how almost everybody except 2 were. It may be the same thing actually. You may have top heavy D1, and then the two outliers, the two I don't want the 2 teams that aren't as successful this year end up in D2, and that's not a bad thing. I think that would be a good thing for whatever team ends up there, and I think they could have a nice little run.
Mhm. Yeah, this team in terms of a contender and who's going to win this league, it's kind of a two-horse race between Southgate and Garfield. And I do think there's only be two D1 teams unless somebody sneaks into the open. Just looking at how the rest of the league has kind of played out, couple down years, couple. Although Legacy was 3-1 heading into league. As we know, strength of schedule is what makes these rankings. You could be 5-0 but still ranked 40th in the city section, or
Right.
you could be 1-3 and ranked number 3 like Birmingham. It just
Yeah.
depends on who you play. So yeah, it's really just Garfield versus Southgate, and it's a game that I've been looking forward to all year. It'll be a good game, high flying athletes, tough. It's East LA football, so what
Bro,
more can you ask in terms of that? Yeah,
you seen it up close and personal when you came to the
yes,
game.
sir.
Like, um, this is a two, this is a it's a 2 team race, but any given Thursday or Friday, any of these teams can beat anybody. I'm not taking any credit away. Like I'm not taking anything away from anybody's record. These inner city rivalries, not just in the Eastern League, but in every league. But I know for a fact this Eastern League, you can get popped if you're not careful. Like seriously, you can get popped if you're not careful. Like you can go in the Southeast, and if your defense is having an off day, um, Squiddy Squiddy Johnson, the quarterback for Southeast, he can get loose. Like he's gone. Um, but as of right now, like I have Southgate as a front runner to take this league.
You have Southgate. I have, you have deep ties to Southgate, and obviously you were a coach on the coaching staff. I've been to a game as well. What I do, since it's high school football, one of the best ways I think to compare a head to head before actually seeing it is kind of asking yourself, this is the example I'm going to use. So Garfield played Bakersfield High School, right? And they lost 38-0.
Right,
I pictured Southgate taking on that same Bakersfield team, and I think the score would be worse, to be honest. I do think Southgate would score because it's hard to contain, Mike Gonzalez,
yeah, yeah,
Nicholas
yeah,
Fonseca. But I
yeah.
think the score would have been ran up. So that leads me to my conclusion that I'm going to choose Garfield to win the
Okay,
league. But if Southgate wins, no surprise. And they
right.
end up as a 3 seed or a 4 seed in D1, not surprised because I know Southgate. So yeah.
So if the comeback against Mary Star didn't take place, and we didn't hold them in the second half like we did, I'd agree with you.
Mhm.
I'd totally agree with you. I totally agree that we might have been intimidated. We might have just got punched in the face and sat on our pockets, and then we would have to figure out how to respond. But the Mary Star comeback, and if Southgate converts two of those 2 point conversions, they win by two, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a great assessment. That is a great assessment. But the only reason why I have them edging out Garfield is because those kids don't have any quit. I'm not saying Garfield has quit, but Mary Star last year routed Southgate,
Mhm.
and I'll reiterate it. They routed us on screens, screamed the shit out of us. Their star player last year had 5 touchdowns because our DBs could not tackle. They threw the screen, they got the blocks, and they took off. They did what they're supposed to do. That's what good teams do. They take advantage of your weaknesses. This year, it was a different story. They still won, but it was a different story. But enough about semantics and stuff like that. Let's get on to the next league. Who we got next? What's the next league we got?
The next league is, I think, the most interesting league for a couple of reasons. And it also it's tied for the most teams in the top 20 with the Marine League.
Oh,
And just a
yes.
quick point before I dive into the team analysis. I think the Western League is now the second best league in the city section, overtaking the West Valley. I think one giant in Birmingham can only carry the West Valley so far. So I think the Western League, when they have a open division team like Palisades, a
Can't even
D1 open
argue.
team,
Can't even
a
argue with
D1
you.
open team, yeah. Venice, Hamilton University. So yeah, I have them as the second best league in the city section. And when we get to the Western League itself, really it's like a three-horse race, I would say. Um,
Yes.
Quick shout out to Fairfax, bit of a down year, but Coach Solorio always has it running up there at Fairfax. And University, I think University is about a year or two away from really competing for the league title or a top spot in D1.
But they're
They're,
in the 20, bro. New
yeah, yeah.
coach. New coach. Well, the coach took over last year, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure when Coach Robinson took over.
Okay, well, Coach Robinson and this university team is making some noise.
Hmm. Yeah, and I will say the 4-0 is really impressive, or 5-0, I'm not sure. The real test is going to come when they face a Palisades, Venice, or Hamilton, because
Yes.
this is not taking any credit away, but they have faced some lower part teams, but they've dominated, and that's what you're supposed to do when you schedule those teams. So they've done their part, and now it's just time to see if they can really handle a real test with one of these league opponents. That being said, I still have them finishing. What would that be? One, two, three, four, fifth or fourth? Yeah, I still have them finishing fourth in the league, but not without putting up a fight, and do have a lot of 27, 28 guys. even like one or two 29 guys. So Coach Robinson has it up at University High. And then in terms of a winner, um, Coach Robertson is probably going to expect me to say Hamilton with how much I've spoken about them, but I do have Palisades winning the league.
Yo, he didn't do it.
Yeah, I do have Palisades winning the league. I've seen Palisades and Hamilton both up front. Shout out to Coach Asante for getting me on the sideline. Looking at side to side, I just think Palisades has a few more depth pieces.
Right.
One or two guys get to go down for Hamilton, and they're really struggling. What happened against Loyola? Micah Butler went down, who plays nose tackle or defensive tackle for them. And once he went out in around the second or third quarter, I mean, gaping holes for Loyola, and they ran through Hamilton in the second half at will.
Yeah.
And Palisades has a few more depth pieces, and they also have a more explosiveness. Jack Thomas and DeMar DeZern.
Yeah.
All it takes is one go route, and that can open up the whole game. So, yeah, my prediction is Palisades, but still have to mention Venice. They're like a dark horse. Nobody speaks about them too much, but they're just tough and they play hard. They did lose to Harvard Westlake, but that's a good team, and
Yeah.
you can never sleep on Venice.
I like it. I like it. I agree with all your points. So before I give my pick, let's just go down of so like you said, Western League has 4 teams in the top 20. We got Palisades at number 5. They're 4-0, led by Jack Thomas, King Demetrius, DeMar DeZern, Malachi Ross, and Skylar Walters. Venice is number 12 at 2-3, led by Bennett Dome, Joshua Aaron, Aaron Minter, and William Osir. Oeser. William O. Apologize. Your team, Hamilton at number 15, led by the true freshman, Thaddeus
Yeah,
Burrow, Christian
yeah.
Leslie, Jacob Riley, and Miles Nico Manalay. And then University, number 20, led by Jeremy Pacheco, Monte Hamlet, Cameron Prayer, and D. Elliott Jones.
Class of
Man,
26, yeah.
these this league, man, is no joke. Like you said, they're tied. They got 4, but I have Palisades coming out on top. Like I think Venice is always going to be one of those top teams, right? But I think Hamilton. I think I want to see Hamilton versus Venice more than I want to see Venice versus Palisades.
Hmm.
I want to see who that
Okay.
second team is coming because I think that
Yeah.
like I haven't looked at the schedule, so I don't know when each other play each other. But I want to see the Venice and Hamilton game because I know what Venice is capable of, but I hear and I've seen what Hamilton is capable of, and I want
Hmm.
to see if Hamilton is the real deal
Yeah.
because Venice has always been a steeple in that league. Palisades has been a steeple too, but Palisades is really I don't want to say fully separated themselves from the pack, but
Hmm.
they took a nice little leap where it's going to take some work to catch up. Like you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. They all may be great games. Like that Venice Palisades game may be a shootout or it may be
yeah.
a defensive stellar. But I want to see who's next in line. Like I want to see that
Hmm.
Venice Hamilton line game.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I know before the people sacrifice us or whatever, Venice did beat Palisades last year,
They did.
so they
They
are
did.
the reigning league champs. So maybe we are sleeping on Venice a little
Right.
too much. But hey, man, it's high school football. You can't get too over analytical about it. And yeah, there is like a couple of news I did forget to mention. I mean, Palisades DeMar DeZern just committed to Oklahoma last week.
Shout out.
4-star. Congratulations. And Hamilton is going to play. We're filming this on Wednesday, the 24th. So Hamilton's going to play Pacifica of Oxnard tomorrow, which is, to be quite frank, it's going to be like another Gardena Sarah game, kind of a statement game. Hey, like Asante's not playing. But I mean, I think I saw a caption that said from Asante's like Hamilton doesn't run from the smoke, and they're clearly not running. So
He said,
kudos to
"Line
them.
it up."
Yeah, kudos to them, and that'll definitely prepare them even more. And yeah, excited to see that Hamilton Venice game, and I'll go on record to say that like I told you so over the phone, like 5 high school games into his career, you could just see it. Like sometimes the talent is just very obvious. He's the number one QB in the city section, Thaddeus Bro.
Okay.
He's probably the number he's probably one of the top two, three freshmen in the state. Coach Asante would say in the nation, but I digress. So yeah, Thaddeus Bro's the real deal. Get him a few more pieces next year, a couple of class of 30s, a couple of transfers, and Hamilton will be the real deal.
Hey man, the one thing I love about this kid is he wears number 24.
He does? I don't
He
even
wears he
remember.
wears a 20 number. There's a picture
No,
of him
he wears 22, I think.
22. Yeah, 22 or 24. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
max preps this bad boy real quick. I'm gonna see what number it is.
Or
Because
does
I
he wear
know
12?
I know it's in the
No, I
20s.
don't know.
No, I saw a picture
20s?
and he's wearing a
Okay.
number in the 20s. So we're gonna find this out.
Yeah,
For
I don't
real.
know. Sorry,
No,
that is,
that's
bro.
all
I don't know
right.
your number.
I thought it was 24. I could have swore, but I may be wrong. But now I got a roster in front of me, and it's 22. Sorry, he wears
Okay.
22. Hey, he may not know who Doug Flutie is, but that's one. That's a badass man that wore 22 as well. He wore, yeah, that's dope. All right, so now we get into the Northern League. Hey, man,
Hmm.
the Northern League has got a team in here that is not in the top 20 that has me. Job well done, coach. Job well done. Job well done. They may be ranked 29th, but they are 5-0. I got to give it up to Marshall. Shout out to
Hmm.
Marshall. Marshall is doing his thing. But so let's go. They have two teams in the top 20. We have Eagle Rock at 11 and 2 and 2, led by Liam Paston, uh, Mel Bu- Melion Busano, Brandon Camacho, and Aiden Sierra. And then you have Franklin, number 14, 3 and 1, led by Albert Cardenas, Harold Jackson, Jaden Steele, and Eric Pinedo. So this league last year, the two teams that are surprisingly not doing as well, but law of attrition, Lincoln and Wilson. Like Wilson started off strong.
Yeah.
Wilson started off really strong. Then they went over there and played that team in Lawndale.
Hmm.
And sheesh.
Yeah. They put up 70, and then the next week they almost gave up 70.
Yeah. And then they turned around and lost another one. Like you have your ups and your downs, so hopefully they bounce back. But man, between Franklin and Eagle Rock, I'm I'm not picking Eagle Rock. I'm going with
Hmm.
Franklin. Like I'm we threw against both teams this year, and I was equally impressed with both teams. But Franklin starting off as strong as it did, like Eagle Rock has started off good, but Franklin, like I think Franklin, it's this. I think it's their year this year. I think they're gonna take. I think they take the Northern League this year.
I would agree. Just gonna throw it up there. Yeah, just toss
Ooh,
it up. It's a two
yeah,
horse race. We've kind of known what Eagle Rock has been for the last two seasons. Last season, you can say with Liam Paston, and the offense they have. But yeah, I mean 3-1. Franklin, they got a good win, a really good win against Cleveland, and I believe they only lost to South Pasadena by one touchdown. And just ride the high, man. When a team's high, they're high. I don't know when they play. Hopefully, they don't play like the last league game when all the momentum
all
is
right.
gone. But yeah, I got Marshall, man. Just to throw it up there, a surprise pick for me. I didn't expect him to be this good, to be quite frank.
You think Marshall's gonna upset everybody in the league?
Oh no, no, I meant Franklin, not Marshall.
Okay, I
Shout
was
out
like,
to Marshall
what?
though.
Yeah, shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah,
Marshall.
yeah. My apologies, but Marshall, yes, that's actually another good point I didn't mention. They're 5-0. They beat 47-0 LA Jordan, so they're putting numbers up there. And their QB Nathaniel, I believe, is his first name. He's doing his
Yeah,
thing. So shout out to Marshall, 5-0.
shout out to them. All right, let's get to this. I hate to say it, but this is another one horse race.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next league is one of the leagues in the San Fernando Valley, the Valley Mission, and that is one of the 17 leagues that contains Van Nuys, Panorama, San Fernando, Canoga Park, Kennedy, Sylmar, and Reseda. To be quite frank, it's Kennedy. They're an open division team or a very, very high D1 team. Everybody else is going to be D2, D3, or not make the playoffs. In the case of no offense, but you guys are just really rebuilding. It's tough times for that program and Reseda and Canoga Park as well. Canoga Park might sneak into a D3 spot, but Reseda, they're like 15 minutes down the road for me, and I still remember when I was maybe like eighth, ninth grade. They were, competing D1 title, going to state titles, and it's definitely tough to see Reseda go down the path that it's been ever since Coach Ariola, I believe, stepped down. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're taking it year by year, and hopefully one day they'll be back to winning D1 titles and competing for state titles. But yeah, I mean, when we just look at the teams, Van Nuys is a good team. That matchup, any spark, any hope of a very major upset is gone because they have already played each other, and Kennedy pretty comfortably got beat the Van Nuys team. So I don't really think it's fair to just talk about who's going to be number one. It's Kennedy. It's definitely be interesting to see who can be the two seed because Panorama and Van Nuys and San Fernando, they can battle it out. San
Yeah, yeah.
Fernando, I mean, I think they're 3-1, 4-1. They've only lost to Bishop Alamany. Yes, the score got a little out of hand, but it's a Southern Section team, So
And it's a
public
private
school,
school.
Southern Section, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it'll be interesting. In terms of second place, I know this wasn't necessarily on our outline,
Right, right,
but
right.
I mean, I got Van Nuys. I got Van Nuys getting second place. They
Okay.
got Diego Herrera, who really kind of bursted out on the scene last year as a QB. I think they got an explosive offense, and they could put up points against anybody. But San Fernando does have a really good. They have a good QB as well. Julian S. Sarzer, I believe, if I pronounced it wrong, my apologies once again. But he came in and transferred from a Heritage Christian, and he got the keys, and he's been doing his thing. So second place will be whoever wins second place. It's definitely a matchup to watch.
Yeah. See, it's like that Western League thing, right? Like you know who may take the like you have other games to watch. Like it's not necessarily just oh Kennedy's going to run away with it. Okay, so if Kennedy is that much far ahead of everybody just right now, they're number 9. They're the only team in the top 20 from this league. They're number
Hmm.
9. They're 4-1. They're led by Diego Montes, Matthew Quintanilla, Jaden Carter, and Jacob De Silva. Um,
Hmm.
they are a team that was built like they started young and now they're at where they're at and they got everybody put together, excuse me. So I agree with you. This three man race for second, like San Fernando versus like San Fernando, Panorama, and Van Nuys. I think any three of those teams can easily come in second. And don't sleep on Silmar. Like Silmar
Hmm.
was a really good D2 team last year,
Yeah.
and I think they're just a couple pieces away. Um, like I played against them when I was coaching at HP, and that team was well put together. Like so, I think it's just maybe some rebuilding that they got to go through. But even being where they're at now, like I think they can still make a run. Reseda, like you said, it's not the same Reseda that we're used to, but like I said, it's any given Friday, any given Thursday, anybody could be beat. But it'll be very interesting to see who comes out number 2 and 3 out of that league because they'll make they'll be in the low D1, high D2 range. Um, and I think they can make some noise and make a nice solid run in D2 like that. That's not a bad thing to get started if you're going to make a run.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. I didn't mention Silmar. You were right.
Yeah, yeah.
Silmar's another tough team, and we got a couple of teams in here that used to be. I wouldn't say like LA City powerhouses per se, back when the city section was popping.
Right.
But I mean, like San Fernando used to be a really, really good SoCal football program. Same thing with Silmar. They used to get a lot of the talent in the San Fernando Valley, and I know this is kind of drifting away from the original point, but yeah, it's just something that just popped into my mind, and I had to throw it out there because San Fernando and Silmar used to run stuff in the valley, along with Birmingham and Taft,
Yeah.
and back when public schools were more. or more popular to attend, you can say, for when it comes to high school football in SoCal. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Second, third place, and never sleep on on these Valley teams, man. As I always say.
Yeah, that's true. So that gets us over to the Coliseum League. Man, Coliseum League has three teams in the top 20. They got King Drew, number 8, 3-1, led by Jason Burgess, Giovanni Gott, Justin Coleman, and Kenneth Webb. Dorsey, number 10, 2-2. We know that they have solid leaders in Stephon Johnson and Makai McCluster.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, there are no stats for this team on Max Preps. And then Crenshaw, number 16. Um, they're back, but they never really go away, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then unfortunately, there's been no stats reported for Crenshaw as well, man.
Yeah.
Um, I was looking forward to it. I was like, oh, they're back. They're back in the top, and no,
Yeah.
they're there, but they're 3-1 right now too. So 16th, ranked number 16, 3-1. That's good. Um, Out of this league, um, last year it came down to Dorsey King Drew, right?
Yeah. It came down to a one score game that Dorsey ended up winning, and Dorsey won the league.
Dorsey won the league, but we know who made a run and who won it all. So
Yeah.
for that, I got King Drew taking on Crenshaw for the league title, and I got
Hmm.
King
Oh,
Drew,
okay.
and I
Wow.
got King Drew winning it all.
Wow, that's a very interesting take. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so Coach Paul has King Drew taking it over Crenshaw, not
Yes.
Dorsey. Okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Wow.
I know
Yeah,
the
I mean,
rankings. I know the rankings are
mhm,
8, 10, 16, but Crenshaw went from middle of the pack yet last year to
mhm.
top of the pack. I think that's gonna be. I think that's a team. Dorsey's always good, right? Don't get me wrong. Stephon Johnson is a beast on the field, but we've seen what King Drew is capable of. Yeah, they lost some pieces, but I'm excited to see what Crenshaw is going to bring to the table. Are we dealing with the Crenshaw of old? It looks like it. So let's see.
I wouldn't say that. I'll get into that in about a minute or two. But the
All right.
Coliseum League, you also got George Washington Prep, Fremont, and Diamond Lee. I don't think Diamond Lee has a football program for this year. So I guess you could kind of just throw that out. They've been struggling. They went. Did they go to the Open? No, they didn't. That was another team. That was Lincoln in the Northern League that went to the Open in like 2021, just randomly, and they made it as an eight seed. But the point is, they're struggling, and hopefully they could rebuild that program
Yeah.
slowly. And then you got Fremont and Prep, who are likely D3 teams. I do have Fremont as a D3 contender.
Okay.
I'm not sure how confident I'm in that choice, but I'm gonna stick down with my prediction. I've seen the teams they played. I think they're only like 1-3, so maybe what's his name? Andrew Williams, a USC commit, could pull something out of his bag and carry them to a successful end of the season. But yeah, and to be quite frank, I don't know much about Washington Prep. I don't want to speak anything wrong about them, but they'll be a team in D3, D2, and they'll make a small run. I think
They
so.
were in the championship when I was at HP and they lost to Jordan.
LA Jordan. Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
So
made
I
it.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
they have athletes. Every school has athletes, so
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's a three-team race, and first and foremost, I always gotta give my flowers as I always do to the Crenshaw program. Whether it's 20 players, 25, only suiting up 21. I think the
Right.
legal like limit is like 20 that you have to suit up, or you have like or 18, and then you have to forfeit.
Yeah.
So like no matter how many little amount of players they have, they always were either in D1 or won a Division two title. Like last
Yeah.
year, they lost by 1 point to the number one seed in Division one, which is Eagle Rock. Not one touchdown, 1 point.
Yeah.
So they're always in it, and just kudos to Coach Robert Garrett. I know he's going through a bit of I think he's on administrative leave, so he's not actually coaching and on the field. his assistant coaches are stepping in and playing a big role. So shout out to them. And yeah, shout out to the kids of Crenshaw High that still go there and just
Yep.
decide to put on a helmet and play.
Yep.
And they're not like a pushover. They're not some team dwindling in D3 or not making playoffs. They're still
Right.
competing. What would happen if, so many kids wouldn't get poached? Who knows? But they're competing. So kudos to them. I'm happy to see the Crenshaw program still hanging by a couple threads, not a thread, but a couple threads. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, you got King Drew and Dorsey. Dorsey. This brings me to another point. Would you think it's better in terms of championship winning? Would you think it's better to make it as a top D1 team than the Open? And I say this because all year, all season, all preseason, we've said, okay, Dorsey is a 6 seed, 7 seed in the Open. They lost 30-0 to Carson, who's a 1 or 2 seed. Would you rather maybe not win this league? And I guess this is more of a hypothetical as a coach who is strictly looking at winning championships. Would you rather, finish second in this league and finish 2, 3 seed in Division One than finishing as a seventh or sixth seed in Open Division?
As a competitor, I would say if I lost the league, I wouldn't be mad. Like I'd be like, all right,
Mm.
whatever I lost, like where am I at now? But
Yeah.
like as a coach, I think too, like as a coach, like yeah, you want to win championships, but you also don't want like you don't want to run from the smoke, right? Like
Hmm.
everybody knows that Birmingham is the top dog, right? Don't you want to be the team that like dethrones them? Like you have to have that belief in your team. That you have to have belief in yourself as a coach and your team and their capabilities to be able to compete with the Birminghams, the Carsons, and the Pedros. And the Carsons and the Pedros, the Bannings, and all them have not been successful against Birmingham. Hell,
Yeah.
Garfield made it to the finals and they got waxed. Birmingham waxes a lot of teams that they play. But what if you're that team that beats the top dog and you dethrone the king? You have
Hmm.
now just established your legacy.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I see it. I see it both sides. Like, all right, yeah, we lose, we go D1. I'm not mad at it. But as a coach, I'm like, you know what? Let's line it up. Let's
Yeah.
line it up. You have to have that mentality. You have to have that mentality. Like the one thing that I like I was explaining to some of the kids in my class today was is you have to fight every battle like Terrence Crawford fought Canelo. Like
Mm.
he went up 20 pounds, didn't have a water weight like restriction. I guess there's like a water like a rehydration clause. Like you can't rehydrate to overgain weight. Crawford didn't care. Crawford said, I'm 20 pounds lighter than you, maybe 10 at weigh in or whatever the weight was. And he was like, I am the top. You say you're the top dog. I am the top dog. Like, and he stood there and he went mano a mano. Like, as a coach, that's all we want. Like, even if we lose, like, it's okay. But if you win, bro, you're the team that beat Birmingham.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great answer to my little hypothetical. And
Yeah.
I guess a little spoiler, I don't have Crenshaw competing, although I do love the story and how the program's still alive. I think it's Dorsey and King Drew, and like Dorsey and in terms of Dorsey, I guess that you could say I'm a little disappointed. I did have a bit higher expectations. I thought it would have been a closer game against Dorsey. They
Carson?
lost to Bakersfield, the same team that beat Garfield, pretty big. And King Drew, I mean, shout out to Coach Torres. He's a great guy. We had him on the show. I look at their schedule and I don't see a real test. They played Culver City and that was a blowout. So it's kind of hard to assess them. But Culver City is a really, really good Southern Section team.
Okay.
Other than that, they've played teams that they should be, like a Westchester, Gardena, Narbonne, who I know. When Coach Torres was scheduling that game, he was under the assumption that Narbonne was the same Narbonne as last year. So there's no fault on his side for that. But yeah, I really don't see a real test until Dorsey or Crenshaw, and yeah, Gardino was a good test, and they did handle their business. They beat him 30-7 or 6, something like that. So yeah, I'm not too sure about King Drew. Not in the sense of I don't know if they're good. Of course they're good. They're a D1 or Open Division team. No, I think they still are the Open Division team. Yeah, just I guess I expected more, even though I already knew what their schedule was going into the season. You
You
know,
still think that they'll be number two? Bakersfield 37-0, Carson 29-0.
yeah, for Dorsey, yeah.
You think Crenshaw's got it in them? You don't you think they got it over? They got it over
It's a
Crenshaw,
it's a historic rivalry game, Dorsey Crenshaw.
right?
I think I think Dorsey does have a lot, not a lot, but they have more talent
Okay,
than Crenshaw does.
okay.
Elijah McDaniel, Makai McCluster, who I said it before. I mean,
We already know.
if
Yeah,
he was more active on Twitter and just promoting himself, he would. I think it would have been way more bigger. He's just a more low key guy, but yeah, I'm kind of yip yapping around because I'm still thinking about who I think the winner is gonna be, but
yeah.
I have I think King Drew. They
Okay,
want revenge. They have more momentum going in.
yeah.
So yeah, I got King Drew winning it.
And my Crenshaw thing is more of just a shock factor, just because everybody probably expected me to pick Dorsey, but
Hmm.
Crenshaw being second in the league, because I do have King Drew, is not a down on Dorsey. So please don't take it that way. Some things that we say on here do get misconstrued. Please don't misconstrue. It's just opinions, and we keep it pretty fair, and none of what we say is malicious. So
For sure.
let's get to this exposition. Oh man, this exposition league. Look,
I can say it. Marquez
hey,
is winning it.
thank you.
It's Marquez and a couple, one or two D2 teams at most. It's a league. You take Marquez out, struggling. D-Mac first year. Gary Parks is now at Everbum Day. Jefferson, they did get a pretty good win over Fremont, but yeah, these are teams that aren't historic football powerhouses, you could say, and it continues to this day. But shout out to Jefferson though, Romeo Dubois or something like that, who's in the NFL, is a Jefferson alumni, and he played at Jefferson. So shout out to them. But I don't really know much about Jefferson, to be honest.
Okay, so I'm gonna be all right. So you guys can think I'm an asshole for this, and I'll take the heat. I'll take it. But Marquez doesn't belong in this league at
I
all.
was going to say they kind of
Marquez needs
belong
to
in like the
either
Eastern League.
yeah, Marquez needs to come over to the Eastern League, or they need to just bring him over to the Eastern League. If the East Valley can have 8 teams, so can the Eastern. So can the Eastern League. Straight out,
Mhm.
I think Marquez should be in the Eastern League, and it's not a shot at anybody, but there's only one team in the top 20. The other 3 teams in that league are ranked in the 40s, and Manual Arts, unfortunately, um, I didn't get that. I stopped at where the D3 playoffs would be, so they're not even ranked where so they would miss the playoffs, right? Based
Mhm.
off of what high school ratings has. So Marquez is ranked 7th in the city. They're 4-1. They're led by Angelo Gutierrez Molina, Gilberto Cisneros, Elijah Staples, and Mario Flores Jr. Um, right now, I give it straight to Marquez. Like I hate to I don't want to be that guy, but I'm being that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could say it, man. I'm not afraid to really speak the truth. It's high school football. Like I said, talent wins you games. Marquez has a lot more talent than a lot of these teams, all of these teams in this league. So it's really Marquez and whoever finishes second. I mean, it's interesting to kind of think about where Marquez will end up for playoffs. I know high school ratings has them seventh. I don't want to give a prediction where they'll finish. I think I'll wait till this game this weekend or this Friday against Eagle Rock to really see where they will end up because
Okay.
they've been blowing teams out, and then they put up 20 against Rio Hondo Prep, and Rio Hondo Prep was that team that just ran the ball down everybody's throats and won like a Division 6 six or seven Southern Section title.
Yeah.
So the game ended 49-20, but that's not a complete wash, if you're looking on the losing side. So it's interesting, to see how they'll compete against Eagle Rock, and then I'll make my conclusion. But man, they're sneaking up there. Like high school rating has them seventh. Could they potentially be the eighth seed that you and I were like pondering over, that I had Hamilton, that you had Eagle Rock, and we were like, we don't even know, so we'll just put them in there. Could they be that? Could that be the 18?
I think like wait wait till you hear at the end of this. I kind of did something else and I didn't tell you. Um,
Okay.
I as of right now, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow or start Saturday, I got a who's who and where they're at. I
Hmm.
did it.
All right. Yeah, we'll save it
So
for that.
so I will definitely, as soon as we're done with the leagues, um, I'll give you a little breakdown of what open looks like, D1 looks
Yeah.
like, D2 and D3. I'll run through it real
Cool.
quick at the end of it.
All righty. Next up, the last league in the Valley, and I know we're taking up a lot of our viewers' time, so we'll speed it up just a little bit. But East Valley is another one of these. I think this is a one, two, three, four. This is a 18 league, so it's
Yeah,
the
that's what it
biggest
says.
league in the city section.
Yep.
So the East Valley consists of Monroe, Arleta, Chavez, Grant, Verdugo Hills, Fulton, North Hollywood, and Pauley. And Coach Paul and I both have Arleta winning it. To be quite frank, there are some teams where I'm sure Coach Paul would agree we don't know much about. North Hollywood is on a down year, which was expected. They were 10, and they were the only undefeated city section team going into playoffs last year, and then they ran
And then
into,
got upset. So I was not
yeah.
I wasn't too damn.
Mhm. Yeah, so I mean, granted, they graduated a lot of kids, so this dip isn't anything surprising. A lot of people expected it, but yeah, I mean, we got our leader. I think they got a couple good wins this season, and I'm just going based off that. I don't know much about a lot of these teams. I know Fulton was 8 man 2 years ago, and Grant lost a good amount of guys, so they're on a really down year. And Monroe, I think they finished 0-10 last year. They're ranked 55th, so they will be improving slowly but surely. So you got to celebrate the small wins when you can.
Exactly. So we move on to the Central. And these last three, the last couple leagues we're talking about, they're all teams that there's some teams that will that they actually all have teams that will make playoffs. None of them broke the top 20, but the Central, me and Jay, we both have Bernstein winning this league.
Hmm.
It's got Bernstein, Mendez, Belmont, Contreras, Hollywood, and Roybal. Contreras, Hollywood, and Roybal are all going to be, in our opinion, um, they're they're good teams. They have a lot to improve on, as we all do. But Bernstein is going to
Hmm.
is definitely going to by far take league easy. And I'm not. I hate to say easy, but I feel
Yeah,
Bernstein is a tad above the majority of the teams in that league.
yeah. I mean, the consistent theme through the last three leagues that we will talk about is really just these public school teams that have historically never been known for their football, and whoever comes and shows up, they're on the team. So this isn't a shade. We just want to let you guys know what type of caliber of team we're talking about. And this is not a shot, because I played on one of those teams that was just, hey, whoever comes out and tries out is on the team.
Right.
And we won a city title my senior year. So never say never. But yeah, I mean, Bernstein, I wouldn't say it's like a Valley Mission League where we have Kennedy running away with it. But yeah, Bernstein is about maybe one or one and a half levels above the rest of these teams, and Mendez and Belmont are usually teams that have historically struggled to make playoffs and get winning seasons. But yeah, I mean, Roybal was pretty much bottom of the barrel 2 3 years ago, and now they're looking at a mid place finish in D3. So like I
Yeah.
said, you got to take the wins where you can.
Exactly. Who we got next? We got two left.
Yeah, next up we got the Southern League, which is consists of West Adams, Torres, who does not have a football program for this year, so we'll throw him out. Diego Rivera, LA High, which is a team Coach and I are familiar with, a bit familiar. Macy's and Sotomayor. Coach Paul and I have LA High winning it. They won it last year. Anthony Jackson is a guy who works wonders, and I'm sure what he does, a lot of these coaches do. He just promotes it more, which is why I speak so much of Coach Jackson. You know, he's on Twitter, always tweeting to LA Times journalist Eric Sonnenheimer the stats, the scores. You know, Eric Sonnenheimer tweeted last weekend that no matter if they win 70-0 or lose 70-0, Coach Anthony Jackson always sends in the stats so he can promote and push out his players to these local colleges, these
Yes, he
JUCOs, these
does.
E3s, etc. So yeah, I mean, I got LA High winning it. They do have a really good QB in Ethan Grant, who, you know, kudos to Coach Jackson. He managed to keep them stay. But yeah, it's really kind of just LA High. I mean, looking at it right now, currently, if the playoffs were to start, LA High would be the only team in that league to make playoffs. So
Yeah,
it kind of speaks to the standard of the league.
yeah, and like it sucks to see like Maces would miss the playoffs because they have some talent, man. Like, and this is just a shout out because I know this kid's work ethic, man. Dominic
Mm.
Angulo, the kid does everything, man. He like, and to be on a team that's 2-2, maybe they can compete for this league, maybe. But you know how I feel about this team. You know how I feel about Coach Jackson. Um, like he's building something over there with what he has, and
Yeah.
he was a guest on our show, um,
Hmm.
and he's not going anywhere. He's a hometown guy,
Alumni as well, yeah.
so he's staying. So I really look for good things to come. But I have what, like you said, we have LA High taking that. So we get to the Metro now. The Metro has got Hawkins, Locke, Rancho Dominguez, Jordan, and View Park. One of these teams that's ranked that would currently make, well, I think they both would make D3. I'm not sure. One's D2, one's D3. We'll get to the list later. But we have Hawkins winning the Metro.
Yeah, we do. Similarly to Coach Jackson, we also had the Hawkins head coach on, Coach Ronald Coltrus, and he kind of spoke volume to how it's kind of been taking over Hawkins since the Max exodus happened. You know, it's been a decade now, which is crazy to think about. He was there, I think, a year or two after it happened, and he's just been there since. You know, taking what goes to him on campus recruiting as a PE coach. He does a lot, and one statement that I always think about is that like during our interview, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, you know, he has to worry about one time he has to end practice because certain kids have to walk through certain neighborhoods
Mhm.
that aren't safe. You know, once the sun goes
Right.
down. You know, with
Yeah.
gang activity and crime and all of that. And that statement has always stuck with me. So, shout out to Coach Coaches. You know, Locke isn't the worst team. You know, they'll likely finish D3. Rancho Dominguez is 0-4 or 0-5. They're a struggling team all the way down there in Long Beach. LA Jordan year one under Derek, I think Derek Boyd, or no, James Boyd, I believe, who was at USC after graduating from LA Jordan. So he's an alumni. And then we got U Park, which is just another team that's struggling. And I take that back because I just remembered they don't have a football program for this year. So it's a 14 league this year. So U Park, no football program. So yeah, I got Hawkins taking it.
All right. So the moment everybody's been waiting for. You've heard numbers. You've heard who they're led by. So if playoffs were to start tomorrow, this is the breakdown based off of high school ratings. So open would be Carson, Pedro, Birmingham, Banning, Palisades, Garfield, Marquez, and King Drew. That's who would be an
Wow.
open. Division One, you got Kennedy, Dorsey, Eagle Rock, Southgate, Venice, Franklin, Hamilton, Crenshaw, Granada Hills, Gardena, Cleveland, University, El Camino Real, Taft, Lincoln, and San Fernando.
Nice. Shout out to Aft.
D2, you have Bell, Westchester, Roosevelt, Marshall, Huntington Park, Arletta, Van Nuys, Sylmar, Panorama, Legacy, Washington Prep, North Hollywood, Fairfax, Bernstein, Chatsworth, and Jefferson. And then for D3, you would have Wilson, Southeast, Santee,
Okay.
Maya Angelou, Verdugo Hills, Hawkins, Roybal, Canoga Park, Fremont, Contreras, Locke, Pauley, LA High, Monroe, Chavez, and Hollywood.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, obviously things are going to change since
Right.
there's how many weeks? 6 weeks left in the football season. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting, to see. Dang, so like Marquez would finish seventh. Canoga Park would make it into playoffs after missing 2 years in a row. Like Eagle Rock third seed, and then Hamilton. For all I hyped them about, they would have finished. What is that? Sixth or
7.
seventh in the seventh in Division One. After I said they could potentially make it an open, so it's
Yeah.
interesting, to play these hypotheticals, and I guess we can play on these hypotheticals even more with these brackets. I guess you and I just predict a winner for each division.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's start D3. So for
D3,
D3, yeah, D3, I will choose. I gotta look through the list. um, let's see.
I can tell you who I have in the championship. I won't tell you who wins it.
I have Southeast, and I'm gonna stick to my choice. Southeast and Fremont, two contenders, maybe in the final.
Oh, well, all right. So the winner of this game wins D3.
Okay.
Wilson versus Southeast in the semis. The winner of that wins it all.
Mm, there you go. Okay, fire. That's cool.
Yeah, because the bracket would be 116, 215. Oh, what? No. The winner of that game, because they'll see
This
each
is
other,
That's the
is the champ.
championship.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Squiddy Johnson, in D3. I don't think that'd be too fair.
That, but you got a sleeper, bro. There's a sleeper in this mix. And my boy over at Wilson is working, man. Like, I
Oh,
know,
Montenegro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He is
There.
working.
Even if it's not D3, that's okay. Because they had a hell of a run in D2 last year, and they ran into Southgate, and
Mm,
it was just a battle of the quarterback, right? But
yeah.
they have a running back named Adrian Anaya.
Okay.
This kid is a work horse. If they can stop, like I said, whoever wins it's going to come down to Adrian and Squiddy. Whoever wins that game wins it all.
There
If it
you
were to
go.
stay this way.
All right.
All right,
Go
D2.
D2, and you give your winner first.
D2, if it stays this way, HP.
Huntington Park. Wow.
Yeah,
HP.
yeah.
Why?
HP, because they're grit. That's just a gritty team. Like they're never out of like okay. The first half of their season, there were some games they were out of it, right? But
Yeah.
I think I think by the time they get to playoffs, they will have everything figured out. And actually, if it's not HP, the way it's lined up right now, Marshall could come out of that.
I was gonna say I have two teams in mind. One is Marshall, 5-0. Gotta give a shout out to them. And two, probably a little more unpopular because they probably won't finish as a number two seed in D2.
Ooh,
Westchester. They played two really good teams. They played King
yeah,
Drew and they played North. That same North
ooh,
played
yeah.
Carson. And they put up 68 on Southeast. I don't care what team you're playing, 68. That's a lot. And they lost a close one against Arleta. So yeah, interesting to see where Westchester does on their first year NFL vet, I should say, head coach Cam Graham. So
There we go. D1, you go first.
Division One, this one's juicy because it has a lot of teams that a lot of people are familiar with. First of all, I'm gonna give. This is not a winner, but I'm gonna give a just for the funs of it because it's a hypothetical. I'm gonna give a semifinal finish to my Tav Toradors.
Oh,
Semifinal finish.
nice. Okay.
Even though in this current spreadsheet they'd be 14th, so they would have played Eagle Rock, who they actually already played and lost to, but that's besides the points. So semifinal finish for my TAF team, and the winner, uh, I'm gonna go between. Honestly, looking at it, the 1 and 2 seed,
Okay.
Kennedy or Dorsey, Kennedy
Okay.
or Dorsey, I'd say.
All right. So I'm not picking who you think I would pick.
Hamilton.
Heck
Oh
no,
wait, I know. I know
no,
who. All right, continue,
no, no,
continue.
no.
I know who. I know who.
I'm not picking Kennedy.
Okay.
I'm not picking Dorsey.
Okay.
I'm not picking Southgate.
Oh, that's who I had.
I know.
Who are you picking? Who are you picking?
To be honest with you, like if it comes down to it, like you got a Marine League team in D1. I don't care
Hmm.
how low they are. Like they play in the best league in LA City. Like
Yeah.
any Marine team that is in D1, you have to be worried about. You have to be. You
Yeah.
have to be. I don't care if it's a down year. Those kids, that league is a gauntlet. So if you're there, I give it. I got guard. If Gardena can go into if it worked now and they were healthy, I'd be scared of Gardena.
Serious? Yeah, I didn't even look at. I didn't. I skimmed past him
I
because
know.
like you said, they're in a down year, first year head
Yeah,
coach. But yeah, a lot of we did we even mention them in the Marine League preview? I don't. I
yeah,
think we
we did.
briefly skimmed past them,
Yeah, because
but
they're
yeah, I mean,
18th.
yeah,
Because they're
yeah. I know.
18th.
I know for sure on my end. I definitely have slept on them all year. I know Gabriel Gutierrez is a guy. He's also like 6'9", 300 something pounds.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a great choice that I really didn't think about. You know, a team in the Marine League in D1. You know, if we can find an obscure fact, like when was the last time a Marine League team was in D1? They probably won it
Banning.
or
Banning won it
Banning.
all.
There you go. So Banning won it all. So yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
pick. Yeah, man, that's a great pick.
yeah. That's why I was like, oh, he thinks I'm going to pick Southgate. I'm not
Yeah, I
picking
did.
any of those four teams.
I
I
was like,
got
oh, he's picking
Gardena.
Southgate or
Yeah.
like Venice or something.
Hey,
Okay.
honestly, I think it would be one hell of a game. But if we are looking at historic facts and the way it works out, all Marine League teams are built just a little bit different than everybody else,
Yeah.
and it's just facts. Like we said, and we say it over, and nobody's ever disagreed with us that is, and especially when Norbon,
Hmm.
they are the best league in the city section. That's why
Yeah, for
King
sure.
Drew is trying to go to the King Drew's going next year.
Yeah, the realignments. Yeah.
So I got if it were to go, Gardena's my pick.
There you go. That's Division One for you.
Big Dog League, open.
The Open Division League. This one in this current spreadsheet on this current day, it would be Carson 1, Pedro 2, Birmingham 3, Banning 4, Palisades 5, Garfield 6, Marquez 7, and King Drew 8. And, you know, this is like a three-horse race because, I mean, for example, Carson, who is number one right now in the Open Division, currently played Palos Verdes and lost 20 something to 0. Banning, who is only three spots down, lost 52 to 0. So I think that shows the gap between the top three, which would be in any order Carson, Pedro, and Banning, compared to the rest. So I say all this to say that I have Birmingham winning it. Yeah, I have Birmingham winning it. But shout out to Marquez. They would in this situation in this spreadsheet, they'd be second. They'd be going on the road to play San Pedro, and that's a great feat. And like if they finish in the Open Division, you know we have to remember Elijah Staples, who's a three-star athlete with I think because he just got offered by Sac State yesterday, 6 or 7 Division One offers already. We have to remember this kid's a junior, so he's gonna come back for his senior year. Will Marquez be a shoe in for the Open Division next year? Maybe. Things to think about
Things
during
to
the
think
season.
about.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the trenches. It all
Hmm.
comes down to the trenches. Carson, Pedro, and Birmingham all have trenches.
Hmm.
Banning Palisades, Garfield Marquez, and King Drew, they have lines. but they don't have the size
Mm,
like that. When it comes down to winning this, it's going to come down to who can move the ball. All the teams in open can score, all of them. We've looked
for
at their
sure.
resume; they can all put up points. They can all stay in a game. They can all will themselves to a victory. Until somebody beats them, they're the top dog in the LA City section. I got Birmingham.
Yeah, and you're right, man. The trenches, they have a really good trench unit, I will say. And I think honestly for me, it's been the same, and I think it's the same for you. It's as much as we want to do hypotheticals, this, that, and the third. It's very, very likely it's Carson Birmingham in the final. But Pedro's sneaking up there. Let's not sleep on Pedro. They're sneaking up there, and Marine League when they face off will tell us a lot about both teams and who's going to be potentially seeing Birmingham in the final.
It's very hard to beat a team twice. Carson and Pedro got their work cut out for them. Banning, I'm not taking anything away from because they're there as far as that league goes. But open is
Yeah,
open. Open
yeah,
is
open
wide
is open.
open. Open
Yeah,
is
for
open.
sure.
And if you're not ready to play your A game in that division, you're going home.
Yeah,
No matter
because
who.
it's 8 teams, so that's 3 rounds. It's not like you have an extra round like the
They
16
get a
team
bye
league.
week.
So
So when D1 starts, they get an extra
they
week to prepare for each
yeah.
other.
So yeah, and that's the open. We've been going for a while, but yeah, I mean, I guess small notes on every team. Banning, they have a great trench unit. Cody Galloway leading the way. They've been running through teams, Southeast, et cetera, et cetera. Palisades, who I mean, I've said it all year. They might give up 30, but they'll score 50.
They're going to
Doesn't
air
matter
that
who.
out.
They'll air it out for sure. They might lose in the first round by the score of they'll probably give up like 34. No, 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 because I don't know. Point is, if they lose, it's going to be like a 70, 80 point game. That's how
They'll
explosive their
play
offense
Banning.
is.
That's who they'll play.
That
If
would
we
be
were to start,
that would
it'd
be a
be
good game.
4 versus 5. That'd
Yeah,
be a good
but
one.
yeah, and then Garfield, Open Division, Eastern League champion. If we're going with my scenario,
Yeah.
always a tough team. I know they're getting a few guys that are getting cleared for sit out period, which
Yeah.
actually ends this week.
Yep.
Marquez, we spoke about him, their guy, the guy, 3-star Elijah Staples, and you got King Drew, who I believe their Downey quarterback is going to be cleared for sit out period this week. So maybe it'll be a
And
new look
let's
offense.
let the games begin. We want to
Yep.
thank you guys all for tuning in. I know this one was a little bit longer than normal, but our surprise episodes normally go about an hour. We literally touched on everybody we could touch on,
Yes,
all the
sir.
leagues, open through D3 as of right now. To everybody that tuned in, we thank you. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you haven't liked it, please like it. Hit the bell so you can get alerts when the new episodes occur. But until next one, you know what it is. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Peace.